And we're just over 3 weeks away now from local and mayoral elections in many parts of England. And here on Breakfast, we have been speaking to each of the main political parties.
And today we can speak to the leader of Reform UK, Nigel Farage. Mr Farage, good to see you. Thank you for talking to us here on Breakfast. I'm going to start with an easy one, which is, as you're out and about campaigning on the doorstep, what's the pitch? Why should people vote for Reform UK?
Well, it's local government that we're voting for. Of course, it's very important in terms of our roads, dealing with potholes, adult social care, children with educational needs problems. So, these elections really do matter. Plus, of course, we've got 6 mayoral contests as well. Our argument's very simple. It is that local government has been run by the same people and the same parties for decade after decade. Most of them are on the verge of bankruptcy, despite the fact that the people that work there pay themselves ever-increasing sums of money. And you look at where they spend the money. Tens of millions being spent on cycle lanes that no one uses, huge departments of people dealing with climate change, when all people really want are proper, well-run local services. So our argument is that local government in Britain is broken and Reform is going to come in with a fresh agenda and fix it.
And how well do you think you're going to have to do in these local elections to consider yourselves as a proper, viable national force in UK politics? There's lots of elections going on. There's the local elections, there's the mayoralty elections. Of course, you're in Lincolnshire. That's a big part of it. There's also the Runcorn by-election. So what do you have to do? What's success for you?
Well, our poll ratings are roughly double what they were at the general election last year. And you can say that's virtual. What we have to do on May the 1st is to prove that that's real. If we do that, we will win a lot of council seats up and down the country. We could well become the biggest party in some of these counties. And we must have a chance, I really do believe, of winning some of the mayoral contests as well. If we do that, then people will say, you know what, the rise in Reform is real, they are now a major party, and they are now the major challenger to the Labour government.
Of course, these elections are coming about at a particularly difficult time economically. We've been talking about a lot of issues on the programme this morning. Let's first talk about the issues of British Steel, the plant that you're at in Scunthorpe, and you have called for nationalisation, and you say that it can't come quickly enough. You're talking about it in terms of days that something needs to be done.
Yes. Yeah, look, 5 or 6 years ago, I was saying very loudly and very publicly that selling the Scunthorpe works to Jingay was a mistake. The other bigger point that I've made for years is that we have the most expensive energy prices industrially of any country in the world, and literally we're witnessing deindustrialisation before our very eyes. We saw the Port Talbot steel plant close just a few months ago. We're losing refining, we're losing cement making. But both of our aluminium smelters have closed. You're watching Britain deindustrialise as this government follows the last government's policies on net zero. It literally is insanity. And I'll tell you this, unless within 3 days that Scunthorpe plant is nationalised, those blast furnaces will go. We will become the only country in the G20, the only major economy of the planet that doesn't produce primary steel. So this isn't just about the jobs in Scunthorpe and Lincolnshire, important though those are. This is about a vital, strategic national asset at a time when we're talking about increasing defence spending and the world's in a more dangerous place than it's been at any point in my lifetime. This really matters, and I want Keir Starmer to act. And you know what? I think he will.
Well, we had Lisa Nandy, the Culture Secretary, on in the last hour or so. She said that they still believe a commercial solution is the best option and is within reach. And, of course, the counter to nationalisation, it means presumably what has been a loss-leading, according to the company behind it, what has been a loss-leading industry will then fall to the taxpayer to bail out. So potentially there's a cost for all of us.
Well, hang on. The taxpayer is preparing to give £500 million to the Chinese owners right at the moment. The truth is, the Chinese want this plant closed. They are more than happy for our steel production to move to China or perhaps to India. And we can't allow that to happen. This company, Jingay, have no interest in keeping this open. My proposal is we nationalise it, we order the raw materials, and by the way, if they're not ordered by Friday, then both of these blast furnaces will close forever. So it's urgent, it really is urgent. And then let's find a new consortium that will take over the running of the plant. We've got to give them cheaper energy. We've also got, whether it's our rail tracks or whatever it is, let's make sure that when we buy goods for infrastructure projects that are actually manufactured in Britain. And if we do that, we can save these jobs and save this industry.
We've been talking about tariffs a lot over the last week or so, obviously with regard to President Trump, person that you have been close to in the past. This has affected the steel industry. We've heard about Jaguar Land Rover affecting that industry. Have you had any conversations with him? Have you put forward any perspective? Do you think you would have got a better tariff deal than this government did?
Well, look, I've said from the start that I have a relationship not just with President Trump, but half of the cabinet that he's got are people that I know socially, and in some cases I've known for many, many years. So I'll repeat the offer that I've made to this government. If they would like me to help with these negotiations, I would do it. Not because I'm a Labour supporter, but because I believe in the national interest. The only silver lining at the moment, of course, is that because of Brexit, we got a 10% general tariff as opposed to a 20% one. There's a lot more we can do. I would love to help.
And how would you help? Have you still got a hotline? Are you still texting President Trump quite regularly and finding out what's going on behind White House doors?
To be honest with you, I haven't spoken to him because the British government have been involved in very important negotiations. And I think at the moment, for me to pick up the phone would frankly be interfering and getting in the way. But I'm here if they want to use me.
I'm sure they've heard that. Just before we finish up, Mr. Farage, let's talk about vetting, because in the last election there were criticisms of some Reform UK candidates and problems with the vetting process. As people are looking to put their crosses in boxes, can people who might be thinking of voting Reform UK be assured that all of your candidates have been properly vetted this time?
I agree with you entirely. At the general election, we had people that caused us a huge level of embarrassment. We have vetted over 1,600 candidates that are standing for us on May the 1st. And by the way, we're fielding more candidates than any other party. We have vetted them at a level that I don't believe either the Labour or Conservative parties ever have for local elections. I am confident we've done our job. I really am. And I think we're putting before the electorate people from all walks of life, all ages, all backgrounds, all classes, all races, some in the past who've supported Labour, some in the past who've supported the Conservatives, but all of whom believe that Britain is broken, that Britain's in a really bad state, the country's going down the tubes, and we need fresh leadership and a different attitude.
Nigel Farage, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you.